Hi everyone, it's Ashley at Tea Garden Paper Crafts and welcome to a craft along with me video. Today I'm going to be working in my journal made with my Ghosts in the Library kit, Whispered Pages. I've created the base journal, I've created a whole bunch of ephemera, and I am going to start decorating. I've had a lot of questions about how I decorate pages. People who say that they don't want to cover up these full pages because they're really pretty, and just kind of get an idea of how to decorate. So I thought I would bring you along with me to see how I decorate. So usually what I do when I'm decorating a journal is I try to make a whole bunch of stuff first, and I make it as many mass make according to how many signatures I have. So for example, this journal, I have 3 signatures. So I've made 3 of each concept. So for example, I have these, which I used the circles in the kit, and I cut them out with my 2-inch circle punch and then colored the edges of them. And then I took this, because I didn't have enough circles and I didn't want to reprint, I took some of these little tags and one of the words labels and made it into a similar shape. So what I'll do is I'll pick 3 pages, one from each signature, that I'll decorate. So let's grab some stuff and let's pick a page and go. So actually for this one, I kind of think that I like the way that this looks on the page. I like the way that the orange contrasts here, and I like that it doesn't completely cover it up. The only thing that we're missing is this little book here, which I don't think is an issue. So I was kind of imagining this as a tuck spot. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out my glue here, and I'm just going to put a fine bead of glue along the side edge here. I'm going to use my finger tool, as Pam from the Paper Outpost calls it, to kind of spread that out a little bit so it doesn't all ooze out. And then we've got a nice little tuck spot here. And we'll go back in later and put something in there. So now let's go to our second signature. Actually, I think that this one might be pretty cool on this first page here. Yeah, I like that. So this is an example of where you could do something. We're going to make this one more of a side pocket because I'm going to put glue along the top and the bottom. It would be more of a tuck spot if I had left just glue on the side here. It would be more of a tuck spot, but I'm going to put glue along the top and bottom to make it into a pocket. So this is a great example of if you have a page that you don't want to cover up a whole lot, that you can go ahead and just put something small and simple on the page so that it still gives you some interest, visual interest, without taking away from the page. And then here's our third page here. I do like this one. I think I'm kind of tempted to put it in the center here and just put it at the top and bottom and make it into a belly band, which I think I'm going to do. So this kind of gives you an idea of how you can take the same concept and use it in 3 completely different ways. Do I like it at the bottom here? Do I like it in the center? I think I like it at the bottom because it doesn't take away from the architectural details that I added up there. Rub off the excess glue there. Okay, go back to our first signature and start again. Here I've got 3 just little page details. So these I actually made out of doilies. I made a whole bunch of these little ghosts out of a black doily and then just glued some rhinestones on for the eyes. This was basically as is fussy cut from the kit. I just added a little pearl button, and this one I didn't even do anything to. So let's find somewhere for that. So I added a just plain envelope in here, which will be a good pocket, but I think I'm also going to add this on here to be a tuck spot, and I'm just going to glue along these 2 sides here. Also, normally when I record videos, I have noise-canceling headphones on, but my headphones recently died, and we are getting them replaced with our insurance, because we have insurance on our homeowners that covers all electronics in the house, but my replacements haven't come yet. So if you can hear noise in the background, that is my daughter upstairs. She's almost 3, so she is upstairs playing away and having a blast. So if you hear gibberish upstairs, that's what you're hearing. Okay, so let's go to our 3rd signature here, and I've got another envelope in here. I think maybe I'm just going to add that as a decoration. Everything does not have to have a purpose in your journal. So do not feel like you can't add things just to add things. If something is calling to you, go ahead, add it. Like, go for it. The nice thing is that not everything in a journal has to have a purpose. This one I definitely call more of a journal than a junk journal. When I think of junk journals personally, I think of more along the lines of using completely, recycled and thrifted materials. So like if I had made it entirely out of book pages and music paper and envelopes and stuff like that, I would say it was probably more of a junk journal. But because I do have printed pages in it, I don't think of it quite as much as a junk journal. But if you call this a junk journal, that's fine by me too. I am not here to gatekeep what a junk journal is or is not. And then again, I added another one here, and I actually kind of think I want to add this on as a decoration here on the front. I think that looks pretty cool, so we're going to do that as well. So yeah, this is generally my process for decorating journals. I create a bunch of stuff, go through, add it into the journals, and then see where I'm at, and then add more. Ooh, I'm pushing on my light stand here. All right, and then we'll go back to the first signature. And the reason that I like to do it like one signature, each signature, as opposed to just going through the book and starting at the front, is that when I start at the front and work my way through, I find that by the time I get to the back, my journal is so fat that I can no longer fit stuff in it. So I like to do it this way. Ooh, let me straighten my camera here. There we go. That's better. So yeah, I like to do it that way. I just find that it works better for me. Let's see, what else do we have here that I want to add? I've got a whole bunch of stuff here, but I want to, here we go. Got some pockets here. 1, 2, where's my third pocket? Where's my third pocket that matches? Oh no. Well, that's so sad. I can't find the pocket that matches it. Where did it go? Oh, I guess I'll have to set these aside because I can't find the pocket that matches. Oh, it's in there. There it is. It was hiding on me. I knew I made 3 of these. So I have, these are the pockets, the long pockets from the kit. I actually cut them down because I wanted them to be smaller. So I have these two, and then I'm taking this and I put just a little tiny collage cluster on the front here, and I'm going to glue that on as a pocket as well. So let's pick a page. Let's do this page here. So this one I just did 2 sides. This one I did 3. So I think I might put this one here. Or I could do this one. Ooh, I like that one. That one looks really cute there. So we'll glue that one on. So this collage cluster here, I made just with a piece of napkin. It's one of those like super thick, almost paper towel-like napkins, a little bit of this mesh, and then one of the words from the kit. I think I like that one there at the bottom of the page. And again, this one is just one of the words that I took from the kit, and I just tore off the label around the outside and inked it up. I'm inking this kit in a mixture of vintage photo and ground espresso because some of the pages, like with these guys, they're darker and the vintage photo doesn't really show very well on them. So I've been doing the ground espresso on those. Ooh, yeah, I like that. That's cute. So again, this one I just did the 2 sides. The nice thing with the gusseted pockets, if you don't know, the purpose of a gusseted pocket is so that you can fit more stuff in the pocket. Some pockets, like when you glue just the 3 sides and you glue it flat to the paper, you can fit like 1 or 2 things in it. These, you can stuff them absolutely full, which I love. Also, the background of this page is actually text pulled from Dracula, from Bram Stoker's Dracula, which I thought was super fun. Okay, let's grab U3 here. These are ones that I made with book page. They are the backs of cards that are actually from a local cemetery, Forest Lawn Cemetery. So they are the back side of the card that you would normally like write on. So like this would be the back of the card. You open up the card. This side here would be the part that you write on. I covered it in book page. I took some of my scraps and cut them into like a frame, used the fussy cuts, and then some of the text. So let's go ahead and put this one in here. Let's stick this one in here. And let's stick that one in there. Perfect. Love that. All right. What else do we have here? Ooh, I have some clusters. Let's grab some clusters here. So I made these clusters using these pieces from the kit. And then all 3 of them are made with paper scraps. I made these little banners to go behind. So like this one, I folded it after cutting the notches and then put some of that mesh behind it. This one is just 2 pieces of paper with text, and then this one is no text. And these, again, were all made from just scraps and pieces of the kit. So for these, I usually like to put them on like pages that might not otherwise have a purpose. Ooh, like here. I think this darker one would be perfect. And I think I'm going to kind of angle it there so you can still, or I could put it at the bottom. No, I kind of, so this is actually from an Edgar Allan Poe book. So I think I kind of want that at an angle there. I know that might bother some people, but I like doing things like that. Gives a little bit more, I think, visual interest. So I'm going to put a bunch of glue, smoosh it around. And stick it on the page there. And hold it down for a minute so that it stays. You may have noticed that I didn't put much glue near the edges here, just in the center, and that's because with this being folded like that, I don't think that it would stick super well if I didn't, if I put glue there. I think it would have trouble sticking and would want to peel up, so I'm just gonna not put that in. I think that works really well. Perfect. Okay, let's go to our next one here. I've got a piece of an old encyclopedia. I think I'm going to put that at the bottom there, but I think I want to do something behind it. So let me grab my vintage photo, my dauber here. And I'm just going to color up the page a little bit with my dauber. Yeah, I like that. That helps it kind of stand out a little bit more. Put glue on the center here. And I want to make sure that it is far enough away from the spine that this part isn't going to get folded up when it is. There we go. So that we want that to move freely. And again, I didn't glue this part down because I do think that there is a chance that it could get folded up. So I think that this is going to be the way to go. Ooh, yes. I love that. That looks cool. And then obviously, because this one's going to be hanging off the page, we don't want to glue it entirely because it is going to hang off of that page. Again, if that bothers you, you do not need to do it this way in your journal. This is just how I like to decorate my journals and how I find inspiration, how I handle mine. There we go. How far are we in? We got about 20 minutes. So let's do a little bit more and then I will call it for today. So I've got these. These are coin envelopes that I got from my local Dollar Tree that I decorated. This one I cut off the top and they've got old card catalog from a library that went digital, and they've got some tags or journal cards from my kit, and I just put collages on the front. So let's find some places. Let's go to the end of this signature here. that one there in the corner. Now you could, if you wanted, like, just glue, I could just glue the edges of this and make this a pocket, which I think I might do. So I'm going to glue down here where my washi tape is so that my washi tape stays down. And then we'll glue up here along the edge where the flap is for the pocket, or for the coin envelope, and we'll leave this middle part here, the pocket. And I will hang it off the page because then I can make a tag that fits pretty well inside here and just has a little pull on it, like a tab. So that will make, I think, a really fun little addition. And inside here, I've got the library card from the card catalog and one of the tags. And then at the bottom here, this is washi tape, some scraps, and fussy cuts from the kit. Now this one, I kind of want to juxtapose this piece here, but I don't want to lose a bunch of this. So I think I might wait to cover up that one. Actually, that could go on there, and that would be really fun. Or do I want to put it on this side? No, we're going to put it on this side. Again, this one you could make into another pocket, but this one I'm just going to glue flat down because the page that I'm putting it on is not super sturdy. It's just it's a very thin book page. So I'm going to glue this all the way down to add a little bit of extra stability to that page. There we go. And again, this one has a image from the kit and then a card catalog. I picked these up at like flea markets and stuff. Okay, and then let's go towards the back of this one. So now this one I have sideways. So I would want to put it on like a page like this, where it can hang out. So I've got like a scrap piece of paper here. This is actually parchment paper, some scrap lace, and then a quote from a book. I believe it's actually a quote from the Tom Brokaw's The Greatest Generation, which I had to read in high school and I did not enjoy at the time, but it has a lot of really interesting history in it. A lot of interesting U.S. history and such. But I've held on to the book for all of these years, and it was damaged beyond readability from being moved numerous times since high school. So I decided it was actually the very first book that I ever tore up for making journals, and I am still to this day using pages of it because some of the pages can be really tough to use because they have a lot of words about war, so they can be tough. But I just thought that was such an interesting quote. My father said I didn't get to serve and I don't have any boys, so I guess you'll have to do it. I love that. All right. Let's do one more. Let's see here. I've got I made some corner tucks here. So these are just made out of cardstock. Sometimes, like if I'm printing just a single image on cardstock, I will save the remainder to turn into stuff. So these are cardstock that I print on, and then I just used book pages and scraps to collage over them, and then more of my doily ghosts and words from the kit. And then this one I actually cut a fun edge using one of my edge punches. So let's find places for these in our Ooh, I like that. So this was coffee dyed paper that I literally just took a stack of paper and pushed it down into coffee, and the centers of the paper did not get dyed. And at first I was like, oh no, but actually once they dried, I actually really like the way that they turned out. So let's put this on, and with a corner tuck like this, I'm just going to glue along these two flat edges on this one. But yeah, just so when you are dyeing paper, if you have something that doesn't come out quite the way that you envisioned, let it dry. Don't throw it away right away. I've been guilty of that and then regretted putting all that time in and then throwing it out. Let it dry. You might be able to do something with it. So like this one, some of them I went back and I actually used watercolor to paint the centers, and they turned out really cool. Some of them I've just used as is and love the way that they've turned out. You can always re-dye paper after it's dried, so don't despair if you don't love the way that something turned out. Ooh, that might be kind of cool. See, I wish I could get a little closer to that corner so that I don't cut off library, but I don't. Now, I think I'm going to save this page to do something along the top there. Ooh, but I could put that in the corner there and it wouldn't cover too much of that. I like that. That works for me. So again, we're going to put glue along this edge here. And then I'm going to glue this as close to the edge of the paper as I can. So that way we don't lose too much of those book stacks in the corner there. And then we still have decoration on that. And then because this is a nice heavy, it's really gonna work well there. All right, and then our last one here. So this one I actually have facing the opposite direction. So we could put him in like this corner here. We could put him, ooh, I like that. Yep, that's where you're going to go. And then we'll come back later and put stuff into these tuck spots. All right, and there we go. So we got through a little bit of the stuff from the ephemera that I made. You saw a little bit of how I like to decorate pages, my ideas for putting decorations on pages without, when you have a super busy page, how do you decorate it without covering up images and such? So that is the start of this journal. As you can see, it doesn't want to stay closed. It's actually got plenty of room in it for decoration, but it doesn't want to stay closed because it was made out of a box and it hasn't trained closed yet, but I've got a tie on it. So I hope that you have found this video helpful. I hope you had fun crafting along with me, got some ideas for what you might be able to do. And I will be back soon with another craft along with me video so you can continue to see me decorating this journal. And I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.